Hi everybody, back again for another video in our COVID 2021 series. Today is the 2nd of September and this video is on hand techniques. Now just in our last video yesterday I neglected one stance, which was rear foot stance. I'll just quickly go through that one, get my feet where you can see them. If I've got my back stance here, my regular back stance, to rear foot stance, I'm going to bring that foot closer. So there's my parallel stance. If I turn that foot there, that'll be the longest you'd want it. Anywhere back to here is good. So I just bend the knee, lift the heel. So this is rear foot stance. That's okay, that's probably a tad long. You bring it back because you're really lightening up the front foot. And the idea of having this foot here in rear foot stance is from here, I can come up, kick. I can come up, kick. I can come up and kick. It's a very light front foot. Rear foot stance again is a momentary stance. I've talked about momentary stances. I'm not going to jump around the room sparring you in rear foot stance. But if we're here sparring and you maybe do a front kick or a spinning heel kick, I might just rock back, bring my front foot in like this. So from here, front foot cups in, there's my rear foot stance. Let that foot go past me, and I'm still close to you, and from here, I can come up and strike with that foot. Or from that rear foot stance, I can bounce in and keep moving. So today we're going to look at hand techniques. Just loosen up our shoulders while we're getting ready. So you should have done a small warm-up of some sort before we start. Just moving our shoulders around and getting ready to train. When you're doing hand techniques, leg techniques, anything else, always remember the basics. You've all heard me say start, finish, purpose. If you can answer those three questions on any technique you do, there's a very good chance you will do the technique correctly. If you know where it starts from, you know where it finishes, and you know what it does, you've got a better than even chance of doing the technique correctly. And if you're unsure of a technique, you're unsure of how it works, say to yourself, what am I trying to do here? I'm going to try and do a punch. I'll start from a loaded position. I'll finish in this position here. The purpose was to punch midsection, or high section, or low section. So start, finish. If it was a block, I'm going to start from here, I'm going to finish down here, in my knee, and the purpose was to block below the belt. So, block below the belt. Start, finish, purpose. Let's have a look, starting off with the most basic technique we've got, which is a vertical jab. I say vertical because here's my hand in a vertical position. This is a vertical fist. Thumb up, vertical fist. Thumb sideways, not vertical. Okay? Vertical jab. So I've got my Everlast target here today. You can buy these cheap on the internet for about 140 bucks. If you buy the brand name ones, you probably pay 250 plus. If you buy the Bob type one, which is a person, you pay a lot more. They're probably 250, 350 to buy. You fill the bottom with sand, and about half full is good. If you have it too full, it's too much load. You'll see every now and then I might knock this over, but I'd rather be able to knock it over than over-torque one of my joints, like for instance, overwork a knee or overwork an elbow. So it's better to have this fall over now and then, just half full of sand. Don't fill it with water, because if they get a leak, it's everywhere. Okay, vertical jab. Here I am in my guarding stance. From here, watch my shoulder, watch this shoulder here. It's doing nothing. It's the fastest punch I've got. Fastest punch you have when you're sparring is your vertical jab. It comes out from here, nice and quick. There's no shoulder. If I do this, you're going to see the shoulder. That gives you a chance to move. If I just straighten my arm, that's the quickest jab I've got. The job of a jab is to make the other person blink. Here's their eyes here, there's their eyes. I'm with that person, all I've done is just pop them in the nose. That's all I've done, just a little pop in the nose, nothing more than that. So that's a jab. The punch comes from here. Jab. Jab. I want you just to practice this one for a second. Jab. There's my guard. Jab. No body movement. Nice and simple. If I was in a self-defense type position, there it is. It's just nice and quick. Now let's turn that into a jab punch. Footwork is vital here. This shoulder is all the way forwards. This shoulder all the way back. That's as far as I can reach with that hand. It's not close enough to my target. So watch what happens with my footwork. The hip comes through, knee bends, heel rises. Now my shoulders are square to the target. Now I can get some distance. I see a lot of students having trouble with this, so we're going to practice it here onto our target. You can practice with someone holding a couch cushion at home. Anything will do. From here, jab, punch. So you can see the hip, knee, heel. Again, jab, punch. You'll notice my other hand comes up towards my face. So from here, jab, punch. So I'm close in now, we're boxing. We're not kicking, we're boxing. So I'm now protecting my face. Because one stray elbow from you, I'm on the ground. So jab, punch. Throw the third punch maybe, hook. Talk about that in a minute. Jab, punch. So important rule here, no shoulder. No shoulder at all. Just make them blink. Second hand, guns loaded. There's my guard. Guns loaded. There's my second punch. Had to get the hip through, had to get the knee and the heel. Jab, punch. Secondly, let's have a look at something moving on from that. Just moving into punching in horse riding stance, because we do this all the time. And again, we see this, people not using their hips. We're going to talk about hips. All day today I'll be using hips. Here's my horse riding stance. Here's my hand out the front, other hand on my belt. Shooting for the V in my uniform. When I punch, I come back, and from here, shoot out. My shoulders are now square across the room. I don't finish like this. Come back, shoot straight out, and finish. Come back, shoot straight out. See my fist? It's going to turn now. If I turn at the end, I get that extra power. What I won't do is come around behind my body. This elbow here will shoot straight back. You can still pretty much see it. And from there, it comes straight out in a straight line. The faults that we see with students are these ones. There's no hip, or they come back, the hand goes to here and comes out. Or it does this. Wrist down. See, I've turned it already. Flip. All I'm going to do is give myself a sore wrist. Flip. That's incorrect. Next one that we see that's wrong is this one. They come down, up, out. Again, not correct. That fist will go in a straight line towards you. If you look at my fist here, watch it go in a straight line towards you. Straight line, twist. Straight line, twist. Good, nice and simple. Let's have a look at knife hand. Knife hand strike, soft targets generally. Neck, brachial plexus, right here. Big wiring loom, run your finger across it, hurts like hell. That's going to hurt when you hit someone there. That's why you hit them there. That's why knife hand strike comes out this height. When you drop your hand like this, your instructor says, bring it up, neck high. So from here, cross the arms to prepare. Cross, must be crossed. Now I'm using all my muscles. Turn, my hip is now square, is now sideways to the target. And as I step out, everything hits at the same time. So again, turn, strike. Everything hit at the same time. What I don't do is this. See how my foot's landed? Incorrect. I'm reaching for the target a bit because it's got those feet there, so I'm leaning ever so slightly towards the target. I can't get my feet close in. What you don't do is this. Don't go like this, boom, because now my weight is finished. I can't do anything with my mass. And here, to use the mass I've got, foot's here, down here, and then same time. Everything arrives at the same time, at the target. And if you do that, every technique we do, it will be correct. And crossing the arms is important. It recruits more muscles in the back, and it balances your body. So knife hand strike. Striking part of the hand, feel your joint here. Feel that joint. Drop just below it to here. That's the striking zone of your hand. That joint there, don't hit with that. Hit with this. To make the correct knife hand, pack the fingers, drop a little space in there, and by doing this, I've got tension here. If I do this, no gap, I've got tension here. I don't need tension there, I need it here. So that's why the gap is there, because it focuses the tension on this part of the hand. So that's knife hand strike. Let's go straight from knife hand into hammer fist. The reason I'm going to go to hammer fist is it's similar. Make a fist. There's your hammer. I always get kids to do Hulk smash in PE class because it teaches them to use their hammer fist. Exactly the same motion as knife hand strike. With knife hand strike, my hand came to my neck and then struck out. For hammer fist, the hammer goes against my neck and then out. So the front of the hand against the neck, out. So similarly to here, foot straight down here, arms crossed, looking at the target, eyes on the target, step out. Step out. So across, step out and hit. Hammer fist strike. Nice and easy, no need to talk about it too much. Targets, neck, face, down onto the shoulder. So up, two arms, and that's vertical stance we talked about yesterday. Trying to slam someone on the clavicle. Up, down. Let's have a look at back fist strike. Back fist strike is either to the temple, generally, or to the philtrum. Philtrum's here, just under the nose. My students are used to hearing me say philtrum strike because it's less words. It's still a back fist. Hand to the face, closed, arms crossed, and strike out hard. Strike out hard. You're striking primarily with these two knuckles here. If I hit with the back of the hand, I'm going to break these little bones here. So just be aware. You don't want to use hammer fist against the front of someone's head, because the front of their head's going to win. Use it against that slightly softer target here. So crossing the arms, looking at the target. There's my hammer fist. As far as reaching, I see a lot of students doing hammer fist like this in here with a really bent arm. Problem is, I've got to get that close. Let's straighten our arm, bend it ever so slightly, just a tiny bend. The foot of the target is making me step back slightly because I'm going to get a crushed toe otherwise, so my distance is a little out, but you just have to bear with that. So I'm striking out with a nearly straight arm. The reason I don't straighten it completely, if that person comes up with a twin block, they're going to hyperextend my elbow. So I want slight bend just to protect my elbow as I strike them. Philtrum strike comes from here, across. From here, across. Those of you who are third cups will be used to this move here. Low block, philtrum strike. There it is. Those knuckles are leading out to hit that person. So from here, strike. That's philtrum strike with low block from Twege Hyun. Next we're going to have a look at rich hand strike. Knife hand we struck with here. Rich hand, bring your finger across and strike with this. Now, ridge hand strike you do not use against really solid targets. I'd be using ridge hand against the neck primarily. Some people talk about using it down low. My problem with using ridge hand low, if you watch this, here's my person. I'm exposed completely here. If they block in any way, I'm about to get my head knocked off. So I'm not a fan of ridge hand as a low section technique. I'd much rather be throwing a jab and then a ridge hand, and then my hand straight back here again and I'm fighting. So ridge hand, I'm going to straighten the arm, swing through, and look at the hip coming through. Ridge hand is generally thrown off the back foot. Generally off the back foot. So there's the jab, straight arm, ridge hand. Best target, side of the neck. Knife hand, ridge hand. Thumb, don't drag the thumb across out of shape unnaturally. Just gently put it here on your hand. From ridge hand strike, let's have a look at upset punch. Upset punch, always a lot of confusion with upset punch I find. I'll come in nice and close here for you. Upset punch starts here. Starts upside down. So normally I'm ready here to punch. Upset punch is here. As it comes out, my hip is open. As it comes out, it shoots out and finishes flat. It needs to finish flat. I see this a lot. You know what the problem with that is. Force doesn't like going around corners. Shoot flat. Here's my abdomen, here's my solar plexus. There's the height I'm going to shoot for. From here, out, flat. Tucked very close, elbow close in. If I shoot wide, you look at the width of my body, I see people doing twin upset punch like this. From here, now what have I just done? I've missed. If I tuck my elbows, shoot ever so slightly in, now I've got two on target. So from here, back, finish flat, on target. Let's just have a look at upset punch into my target. I'll do it off the back foot so that you can see better. Hand here. So, moving, prepare, finish quite flat. If I finish with a curved wrist, my wrist is going to give first. So again, prepare and hit hard. All right, upset punch, not much more to say. Hit with two knuckles only. Remember, punching, straight line, there's a straight hand. See the line from here to my middle fingertip? These two fingertips here, straight line. To these fingers, not a straight line. Make a fist, straight line down through those two knuckles. That's why we punch with those two knuckles. Because we don't want to break these bones. Plenty of people have. Straight line, force wants to travel. All right, I've got my little list here. I don't want to forget things. Let's have a look at hooking punch. Hooking punch is another one that we see is quite poorly understood by a lot of people. It starts from a regular position here on your hip and it comes up and around. Don't throw from here, throw from here, around. Finish on the centre line. When you're doing a pattern, finish on the centre line. So if you're doing third cut pattern, up, finish on the centre line. Strike with the two knuckles only, and the punch must come in. It doesn't come up, it comes in. It travels in a straight line towards the target. This target's a bit low for me, so I'm going to do it low so that I can get to face height. From here, striking in every time. In. The trick is to keep your wrist relatively straight. If you're doing heavy bag work, I do quite a bit of heavy bag work. If you're doing it, look after your wrists. If you do a hooking punch badly and roll a wrist, it's going to hurt for a long time. So either do it slowly or and work up to harder punches if you're hitting a heavy bag. Let's have a look at some downward techniques. I touched on one just before with downward hammer fist. with my, oh, actually before I do that, sorry, hooking punch, strongest off the back foot. What do I mean by that? Let's say we're boxing here, standard 3-punch boxing combo. Every boxer learns is jab, cross, hook. I'm hooking off the front foot. If I want to change it up and go jab, hook, it's much stronger. So from here, jab, hook, that is a far stronger punch. Hooking off the rear foot is much, much more power. Doesn't mean you only do it off the back foot, it just means that is important to think of. Now, downward techniques. In the first black belt pattern, Koen-Gai, we come up, downward hammer fist onto the clavicle with closed stance. So up, hands crossed, down, up, down, using the weight. In Hwarang, we come up and go into vertical stance, very short back stance. So up, vertical stance. When you do a downward technique, don't forget equilibrium. Hands above the head, slam down. Hands above the head, slam down. You don't just do this, you do this and it's stronger. Right, before I go today, there's other techniques, other hand techniques. We've just looked at a couple. Always remember, choose the right weapon for the right target. What am I hitting? Am I hitting someone here? Floating ribs? Here, here, here. Here, here. Think about the target, think about the weapon. The fist, there's my surface area. Piercing. We didn't look at piercing today. Piercing from the hip. Piercing, very small. Piercing, shooting up, top lip, nose, into the eyes, possibly into here, here, right into the solar plexus. Piercing, soft target. Rich hand, soft target. Knife hand, generally soft target. Hammer fist, anything you like. Could be side of the knee. Slam someone in the side of the knee. Catch a leg, wham, down onto the knee. So use the right tool for the right target. Don't hurt yourself striking another person. So today what I want you to do, go away and just play with crossing the arms, equilibrium, play with the technique coming from the right place. And if you're going to watch this video through again, just pay attention to what you're doing as much as you can. You see the mirrors behind me here? These are some old doors from a set of wardrobes that I think I paid $35 for them about 5 years ago. If you can get hold of a pair of these off Gumtree or something or other, stick one up somewhere in the shed, and when your sabum is not with you, this is your sabum. Because everything you do into that mirror, it's talking back to you. You're watching the mirror, you're doing technique to the mirror, and the mirror is giving you the feedback. So go away, do your lesson, have a stretch, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.